My name's Phil of Milton Photography in North Wales, and we're going to be looking at camera straps. Okay, so we are looking at camera straps. Now, this is my old film camera. Brought in as a test dummy because it's the only one that's left with the original manufacturer's camera strap on. I do not traditionally use manufacturer's camera straps. Mainly, I don't think they're suitable for what I do, and we're going to go through some of the reasons. Now, some of these have got some clever built-in features, the straps that I'm going to show you. They're designed to hold a variety of weights, and they can be quickly changed out with different kit all the time. But the reason why we start looking at straps is normally for one of two reasons. Now, if I'm doing landscape work, you won't traditionally find me with a strap around my neck. The reason for that is that, one, when it's on the tripod, if it's a windy day, it can start knocking against the tripod, and if we were doing a long exposure with a load of filters on it, I'm being slowly eaten by bugs, so I'm sorry about that. So if we were doing a long exposure and this is constantly tapping onto the tripod whilst doing a long exposure, say 2-3 minutes, and it was with enough sufficient force, chances are my photo is going to come away blurry. The other one that normally drives people a bit mad is if they have a front heavy lens on. Now, this is my 85mm, and if I plonk this around my neck, what happens? Well, I start ending up with the old computer neck, and I feel inclined to always hold it. Now, I could do one thing, which is I could try and force it through there, put it to my side, and because of its size it's quite awkward to bring it onto the shoulder, but moving your strap onto your shoulder is a really great way of taking weight away from your neck. So the majority of the straps I'm going to talk about move the weight from here to around here, just to take the pressure off. Okay, had a chat with my physio because I do need one, and they agreed with me completely. It helps you keep the spine straight. You're now relying on a stronger set of muscles and your spine and your core, as opposed to just on the back of the neck. So thank you very much, manufacturer's strap, but let's have a look at our alternatives. The first strap we're going to look at is this one from Optek. Now, Optek have been making straps for not just cameras but binoculars, anything that's kind of even additional bag straps. And what they do is they use neoprene, which is a soft pudgy material, for lack of a better term. It's got a little bit of give in it, and they tend to make it quite a nice wide arc. So if you are putting some weight on it, so camera body with a battery grip, 24-70, 85mm, 105, 1.4, even a 70 to 200, this still tends to be quite comfortable, even around the neck. But the other upside is that this is longer than the previous manufacturer's strap, so I can now tuck that behind my arm. If I need to shoot, it's got a lot more room to swing around. The other thing that Optek do is they do different colors, so you can have a black one, a blue one, and a red one. And what's handy there is that, say you've got something like a sports camera like a 7D, and you also have a full frame camera, like a member of the 5D series, or if you're using a D7500 from the Sony and you've also got a D600, which is their full frame, you could put a blue strap on one and a red strap on the other, and that way if you're rushing, when you go to grab the camera, you at least know which camera you're grabbing. So it's a great way of identifying them. The other thing about these types of straps is if I grab my tripod, is they have clips on them. So as I screw this onto, let's get that onto the tripod. Now I can pop this off and bring them round in front of the camera. That provides some security, and the chances of that earlier incident where the strap was banging against here has now been greatly reduced, almost to the point of nothingness. And it's a little bit windy now, and I did notice that when I put this on for the first time there was a little bit of wind rattle in that. So very good way of getting the camera onto a tripod, feeling nice and secure. The other thing is that these are shaped so that they do go over your neck comfortably and support the weight. The other thing is that one of these is male, one of these is female. That's the reason why those can clip to each other, so it's worth remembering that when you're setting up your straps, because the last thing you want is that to be the other way around, because that becomes very uncomfortable very quick. So that's from Optek. Start off I think at £11 for the skinnier ones, and then go up to about 25 for the really fat ones, which if you're using a DSLR or a full frame mirrorless might be a good idea for you if you're going up to a 70-200 lens. After that you'll probably have to have a look at some of the other options. So just a little thing, when you're getting ready to take the camera back off the tripod, you can always clip yourself back in, and that way if you're not that sure of yourself or it's a bit dodgy conditions, at least you know that the camera is going to go onto you as opposed to on the floor. And these clips are very strong, and so what we'll do is we'll cut to a close-up video and you will see pretty much exactly what you just saw then, but you'll see the clips. Okay. So we've got my old 7D here, and we are going to fit, to begin with, the Optek Strap. As you can see, that has the curvature ready for my neck, so it's kind of handy to remember that. So I know I want to be fitting it on like that because that's how it's going to sit on my neck. Pop that off. So I need that to go through there. Now traditionally you get this in that unit. I've already pulled it apart. Reason for that is a lot of the times when you get one of these, you'll find that this section, this little bit here, is in essence sitting before that unit, and that'll be tucked into itself and go like that. I don't like it that way, but I also don't like the strap the way that most manufacturers seem to send them out, so I'm going to show you a way which a little bit different, and I will explain why I do it this way. So remembering which way it is, I'll slide this section up first, pop this bit through, other way. So you've got a tensioner in there, for lack of a better term. Right, I now feed that back into itself. I bring that up and through. Then I put it through that way. And as you can see, as I pull on that, it's not going anywhere. The tension's going to do it. And then I bring that bit down. Most of the time they seem to have it the other way around. The reason why I don't recommend doing that is that if you want a short strap, that bit's going to probably come up and poke you in the eye, which is not comfortable every time you're using the camera. So that's the reason why I do it that way. And even with that length, the strap is not moving, mainly because all the tension is being put on to there through the weight of the camera. Oop. Stuck in the bench. So do the other side exactly the same. So popping that through, back in on itself. Does sometimes make the next bit a little bit tricky because this one's a little bit more recessed into the body, but with enough force it will push its way through, back up, oop, back up and around, through there, through there. And then try and pull them out to roughly the same distance, which these two are, so that when it goes onto my neck it's going to be comfortable, and when I'm fitting it to the tripod I'll probably clip it underneath. So that's then ready to go on, like so. Make sure to pull that straight. That goes into there with that round the neck, and off I go. Now I've also mentioned they do them in multiple colours, so that's black, that's blue. This is a 1DX, which is different to a 7D on the top, but if I was, say, running a 5D3 and a 5D4, or alternatively a 1DX Mark 1 or a 1DX Mark 2, I could then put the blue one on the 1DX and the black one on the 1DX Mark II, or even like this, because if you're working in dark environments sometimes you'll just grab a camera, and at least this is a pretty big identifier as to what you're grabbing. So that's the handy thing about purchasing the Opteks in different colours. You can almost colour coordinate if you wish. The other thing is I can always switch straps as well, so if anything were to go wrong with one of them I can always just clip into the same clips. So that's Optek. Very handy strap system. Okay, so this is Peak Design, and I think it's quite a nice one for small camera units. So things like the Micro Four Thirds system, and if you're working normally say up to the 40 to 150 from Olympus, it's got a little bit of weight to it, but if you were using an EM1 Mark II and you've got a 40 to 150, then this might be a very good option for you. Reason for that is that I have here the skinny strap. Now your other option is also a thicker strap, so if you are using a small lens and body combination like the 17mm with a pen F, this strap will be a really good choice for you, and probably even up to something like the 12 to 40 or the 12 to 35 from Panasonic and Olympus respectively. So this relies on these little bolts, and these slide-in units go like so, and then they're locked in, and until you apply pressure they do not release. Very easy to put through. I'm saying that and I'm probably going to get caught out. Oh no, first one's doing okay. So I'm putting it straight into the lugs for the traditional strap, like so. A very easy way of doing it. You just loop it through, and then make the little hole, and off you go. So that's now ready to be just slipped into the locking unit, like so. Nice and clipped, not going to go anywhere unless I want it to be free. So this is a handy one yet again, very much like the Optek, which would allow you to slip in and out of different straps. They do the cuff. They do a variety of different bits and bobs for these, but normally you're looking at the two straps and also the cuff as well. Just gives you that little bit of security, but it also speeds up something because you're not having to keep on undoing things. Now, chances are you're about to say, well, Phil, if I have got the 40 to 150, would it be okay to have it dangling? And the answer is, yeah, you can get away with it, but it feels pretty awkward. So what they do, and they Peak Design do, and they include this in the packet, is this unit, which is Allen keyed. Now if we take my 70 to 200, which believe it or not this strap system will support, I then place that into there. Choose the side that you want, so you've got to remember which way it's going to slide on you, because this will still go over your shoulder. And they even include the Allen key, which has got all the, it even includes the rotation on it, but I keep the label on there so that I remember that this is the key for there. Tighten that up, so nice and secure. Because I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have that down that way, I would take my bullet off of this one again. Must admit, it's relatively easy to get these on and off. And I would place that there. Slot it on like so. And away I go. Now the one thing that I was surprised about is that it's supposed to be this way, which means that there's a rubberized section here that wouldn't go onto my shoulder. So I always flip that the other way around, and that way I know that if I'm just wandering around, it's not going to move on me, because that rubber's going to give me a nice little bit of friction, and so it'll stay in place and not keep on shifting weight on me. So it's the wrong way around theoretically, but for me it's the comfortable way of doing it. It's the way that I know it's secure. You can always flip it this way and that way depending on what you're doing, but I don't like things swinging around me. I just find that uncomfortable. So that's a little hint, little tip. If I had the thick strap, I'd probably be comfortable with this setup, but as a skinny one, this hurts actually. It pulls a lot onto my neck muscles, which are damaged, so that's why I stick with a very thick padded strap, which is what I'll be showing next on the video. So that's Peak Design, great system, really handy for the smaller equipment. the more APS-C or micro four thirds type cameras. My last strap is actually categorized as a harness more than anything else. It's a manufacturer called BlackRapid, and the idea of it is that it will never really be strapped around your neck. It's not designed for it. It is designed to go over the shoulder and under the arm. Now, this yet again goes back to what I was mentioning previously about the other strap, the neck strap from Optek, and it just allows these things to sit a little bit more comfortably. It's ergonomically designed to come round and stay roughly in place. And this model is a bit special, I'll show you that in a second, but traditionally they come with a little strap that comes underneath the arm. You feed that round and that clips into there. And the idea is that then it's going to be even harder to move. You have this swinging lock, and what you do is you mount a camera onto that. Now, the way that you do that is through a bolt, and I'm now going to show you a video connecting a bolt to the bottom of a camera. Well, as we can see, that is a bolt, and that's a 1/4 inch. So on the bottom of the camera, we obviously have the tripod mount there as well. That screws into there. And so with doing that, pushing down, we get the rubber into that, and that makes it nice and secure. We then grab the bottom of our harness. We can then pull that up. Okay. Make sure that the little lock is all the way back. That slots into there. And then we can tighten it up, ready to go. So those bolts will go into both camera bodies, and they will also go into the bottom of lenses as well. So you've now seen how you thread the nut into the bottom of a camera. You can purchase additional ones, and so you can have one on your camera, you can have one on your lens, and very simply I'm now going to attach that onto there. That now sits down there. Now, if I had the newer models which have got the strap on the arm, the chances are I could bring this up here, use one of the little locks, and this wouldn't want to dive bomb. So if I was trying to walk through a tight room or something like that, that would definitely help me out a lot there. But this older model doesn't have it. As I said, it is I've been using these for 5 years, and I've actually been using this model for 5 years, and the reason for that is that this is not really a model designed just for a single camera and lens. This is actually a twin harness. The reason for that is that when I was doing weddings and when I do my motorsport, I traditionally have 2 cameras. So let me go and grab the other part, disconnect from this, and we will make it into a dual harness. Okay, the strap itself, it does kind of try and tell you what's going where. You end up with these large bits on the back. This is more for the dual harness. The single one's pretty universal. You can kind of wear them one way or the other. So it's a handy one if you're a left-hand shooter as well as a right-hand shooter. And this is pretty much worn to the point where I know where it's always going to go, so that it fits my shoulder blades quite comfortably. So I feed that in. That's a velcroed belt. Bring that forward, and that accounts for the fact that I have got wide shoulder blades. We're then given an additional strap. This is for the back, so that what this will do is it will, let's plonk it on, follow into the line of the hollow of my back, so it's sitting comfortably for me. If you ever get twisted up, you have also got clips up at the top. Bit difficult to get to in this situation, but you have got it. And then we have the clip on the front, which you've all heard very well through the microphone. And so now I can have 2 cameras or 2 really big lenses, and the 2 really big lenses are the reason why my physio probably likes me, because I have to keep on going back to them. So let's grab a couple of lenses and start attaching them. So first of all, we've got one camera with a lot of reach. This is a 150-600 on a 1DX and a 1.4 teleconverter. So that's a lot of reach. I will have that on my right hand side. And then on my left hand side, I have my shorter focal length. So whatever's shortest always goes on the left, whatever's longest goes on the right. That way, no matter what situation I'm in, I will probably grab the right lens that I'm after. Switch it around, which I haven't done yet, touch wood, I can just keep on shooting and go, oh yeah, need more reach. Oh, things are coming a bit closer. And that's quite a handy thing if you're working on track, because you haven't really got time to change lenses. Hence the reason why a 2 camera setup's really good for what I do. And also for weddings, anything where you're thinking you're going to need 2 items. This also has the ability to have a binocular set attached to it as well. That's a handy little thing to be aware of. You can buy a wrist strap with that and put it onto the bullet, though dear God, if you did that, all it would ever try and do is rip off your wrist. What I've done with this one was I balanced it so that it's going to sit in the right place. There's 3 bolts on here, and what I did was I just put my finger underneath there until I found the place where it would not rock backwards and forwards. So that's how I found my position for the bolt. This one I was using the other day, still on the strap, but I was also on a monopod as well, and so that's a little bit off kilter. But if I was not going to be using a monopod, I would yet again find the balance point, so that's worth doing with those. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I can't really think of anything else. This is BlackRapid strap, and it's my favorite of the straps. You can also buy an attachment which would give you the nut, but it also sits inside an Arca Swiss plate. So if I was to use this for landscapes, I could quite easily put that onto the top of a tripod, for instance. I'm pointing in that direction because the tripod's there, but I'm not going to grab it. So I could have that, so I could walk around. Oh, there's my shot. Tripod out, camera onto the top of it, bang, 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 and then move, reclip in, move along. So yeah, that's pretty much straps. Those are the ones that you probably should be looking at after you've had your first purchase and found that that strap's uncomfortable. I find that if I'm using these, because it's just the single bolt, it sits in the right place, and so this is where BlackRapid really come in handy for the heavier lenses, and really do seem to stand out above the competition in this area. But the other manufacturers are really good as well, and it's not like you're going to be traditionally sticking, I think we're looking at about 3 kilos on yourself on each side. So hopefully that has helped you. The next group of videos that I'm working on, hence the reason why things have been a little bit slow, is teleconverters. There's going to be a playlist on those, so I've had to learn some new techniques and things like that, so on how to edit videos. So sorry things have been a bit long. I did neck straps and straps, and in this case harnesses, recommendation of Chris Evans. Thank you very much for your recommendation, Chris. I hope this has been useful, and do please put in the comments any suggestions for topics you'd like me to cover. We're looking at 10 years now in different areas of photographic trade, so I do know a little bit. I can't say I know everything, and I think that's the most honest thing to say. Okay, well, you guys all stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.